God has called you to be great. I'm sorry. You can be humble all you want to. But you might as well get over it. God has called you to be great in the earth. The truth is the truth. I want to read a little bit out of this book. We're going to go to Psalm 23 and then we're going home. This is out of Purpose Awakening. It's chapter number 4, Leaving Your Father's House. I believe that this is an in-season word. It's out of the section of the book called Separated for Greatness. Even to go from one dimension to the next is to be separated from that former dimension. Let's go for it. You can't have greatness without separation. In fact, greatness itself means to be separated from the norm. It means to stand out from the crowd. Greatness makes a decisive statement separating the ordinary from the extraordinary. Your purpose in life is what makes you great. But in order to accomplish that greatness, you must be willing to accept separation. The hardest part of pursuing your purpose is separating yourself from the familiar, oh God, and stepping into uncharted territory. See, God is the Holy Spirit so strong. God is moving some of you into areas and territories and terrains that you have never witnessed before. And you're uncomfortable, awkward, and you're a little nervous. I get it. But that's what the beginning of the next dimension looks like. You've never been there before. You're inside, you don't know how to function there. And watch this. You not realizing that God is sustaining you in it at the very moment that you're worrying about it. You're already in the sustaining dynamic of God. Therefore, do not worry. The greatest threat to your future is the familiar. Why? Because the familiar is right there. It's so easy to say, that's scary. And to go back. Listen, it may not be my next level, but at least I know how to function on that level. So you're caught in between two things. You're caught between the reality of the possibilities of there, and you got there because there's some word that says that that's good. And perhaps an even more precise word that says that that's God. But that's all you have is a word that says that's God. So you're caught between that and the familiar. And it's interesting how when you get anxious here, you forget how frustrated you were here. I feel good. Think about it. You step into the new dimension and things don't materialize quickly. And nervousness hits in, and fear is such a freaking liar. Fear says, what are you doing? And you're willing to go back, but in that moment that fear slapped you upside the head, the truth about that season and how miserable and horrible and debilitated you were in that season somehow loses itself out of your mind. And you go back and you remember why you left in the first place. And you're like, God, is that deal still on the table? God, is that? The greatest threat to your future is the familiar. Too often people sacrifice their dreams because they're afraid to leave behind what they've always known. The familiar is the often subconscious thought that the predictable is the preferred path and that the recognizable is the best option. The familiar takes pride in being settled in what has always been. It is adverse to anything new, even if that means settling into mediocrity. You can buy the book, read it for yourself. I will reread. That is an option. The greatest threat to your future is the familiar. Too often people sacrifice their dreams because they're afraid to leave behind what they've always known. The familiar is the often subconscious thought that the predictable is the preferred path and that the recognizable is the best option. The familiar takes pride in being settled in what has always been. It is adverse to anything new, even if that means settling into mediocrity. From our youth, we're raised on sayings like, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Or the classic, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. These cliches have reinforced the trap of the familiar by suggesting that what has always been is greater than the possibility of what could be.